Thanks for tuning in. This is my co-host, Gus. So we're sitting in the bus today, and we are about 15 days away from being full-time in the bus. And what I'm going to share with you today are a couple of things that have been on my mind since starting this journey. There are a lot of real things to consider before you go full-time in your bus. But I think something that we don't talk a lot about, we discuss the systems in our buses, we talk about the things that we're going to need while we're on the road, but there's this one big component that for some reason we probably don't talk about because we think it may bring up bad feelings or because it's not incredibly exciting. So 30 days before you go full-time in your bus, most people would probably be a little further along in this process than I am. I have a feeling that I think there's going to be a magic fairy that comes in at some point and literally just picks up everything that's in my house and does something magical with it. I'm not sure. I clearly am not thinking that I'm going to have much work to do because I haven't done much. I'm here videotaping with you when I have piles of stuff in the house that I should be taking care of. When I first started planning living in my bus full time, that was about 5 years ago, and I was super ready for it. I was like, I'm gonna do this and I'm so excited for it, but then there's the realities that hit in, and it's a struggle. So I was resistant. Like, as the days count down, I was resistant, and I was like, I'm gonna store everything because I don't want anything lost and nobody's gonna appreciate my stuff and I'll never find it again. And that's just fear, of course. So I had to let that go. I had to sit in that for a little while, and then I had to let that go. And then there's the screw it, I'm gonna get rid of everything. It's all for sale. Somebody just come pick this shit up and I'm done with it. Well, that doesn't really work either. Find a way to not be lazy and find a way to utilize your stuff with purpose and with intent. And if at the end of all of it you have nowhere else to go but just dropping it all off at just a Salvation Army, it'll still go to great use. And now I've kind of sold some things. I've almost resigned myself a little bit into giving more away. That's the stuff side of it. Now let's talk about the personal side of it. Even when you've had time to prepare for something, you still have waves of emotions. You still have normal patterns of letting go that occur, and it deserves space to be talked about. But we always try and keep our YouTube channels light and happy and la 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 la. I'm going through a lot of different things. I started out super excited and feeling very brave and confident and adventurous. And then I kind of went into oh shit, am I the dumbest person that I know? And then I paused from there and I was like, well, clearly not, because there's over 1.5 million of us living out there on the road. And from there I went into kind of organization and structure mode. Like, okay, I got this. It's not an option. My house is not available at the end of the month. I need to get my shit together. I need to focus and make it happen. And thankfully the weather agreed too, because we've been in the 60s and 70s here in beautiful Boulder, Colorado. I talked with a couple of my schoolie friends that do live full-time in their bus and on their road, and they were all like, yep, we all went through it those last 30 days, but then you come down the other side and it's fantastic. And so I'm kind of holding my breath for that. I'm waiting. It's not even that I'm holding my breath for it, because that's not it. I'm allowing myself to just kind of feel this, but still take action while I'm feeling it. it's not an option to kind of shut down or freak out or do whatever, even though I have my moments. And thankfully, I have the best girlfriends in the world because I can call each and every one of them and they each have a different strength. And I say, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, blah, 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 blah. Now get back in there. And I do. Say I get rid of everything and I move into my bus and it doesn't work. What's the worst that could happen? I'm not going to die. I'm not going to lose a limb. I have a really comfortable environment. So be adventurous. Go boldly. Like beautiful Gus here. He's so bold right now. So bold. Yeah. Oh, I know. Look at that, he's almost as long as me. I can go boldly into this next chapter. If it doesn't work, I turn around, I get an apartment, I call it a day. Life is meant to be lived. Jumping off these precipices and trying something new. I'm not interested in living an everyday life. I'm not interested in a brick and mortar. I'm not interested in wasting away in a 9-to-5. I'm not interested in any of that stuff. I want to explore. I want to continue to tell stories and live. So I've created a life for that. So I can't second guess myself or rethink it. The hard part is, because I'm a hairstylist and I see clients most of the days, I have a lot of people who are like, oh my God, what are you gonna do? In their head, they run down the images of, oh, well, you have dreads, you have tattoos, that makes sense for you to drop out of society and into a bus. And I'm like, no, it's not like that. So I spend most of my day explaining to people that this little movement we have is actually legitimate and viable. And we're not all nut jobs. And even the nut jobs that are in our community are actually pretty cool nut jobs. I have to say, that's one thing I've loved about our community, is that it's a wide range of individuals coming from all socioeconomic backgrounds. And we have one thing that really bonds us all, and that's our desire and need, I guess you could say, for something more than a 9-to-5 and a brick and mortar. I can't remember who told me this story, but I'm going to pass it on. There's an innate drive in all of us as human beings to roam. What's happened to our society is that when we nailed down these 9-to-5s, these brick and mortars, and then we started consuming, and we created all this debt, which traps us even more into this thinking that this is, what we have to do: buy these big houses, do these big things, live this certain life. We've bought into it. We're drinking the Kool-Aid left and right, gallons of it. That when we do this, we've backed ourselves into a corner and lost our ability to roam. And so what we do is we consume more, trying to fill that void within us that needs adventure, that needs exploration. We find other ways to make ourselves happy. When we feel like we have no options, we find other ways to make ourselves happy. I'm going to give this a whirl and trying to find happiness in what I believe to be my innate desire and need to roam. I officially will be called a roamsteader. Anybody could be a roamsteader.